You breathe it in. It feels like nothing. And that's exactly the problem. There's a moment when your lungs accept the vapor, smooth as silk, and your mind whispers a lie you want to believe. This isn't smoke. This isn't damage. This is just air with flavor. But your cells know a different story, and they're trying to tell you something. They've been trying for a while now. Vaping feels safe because evolution never taught you what danger tastes like when it comes wrapped in strawberry cream. Let's go back to the first time you tried it. You expected harshness. You expected the burn that comes with cigarettes, the assault on your throat, the unmistakable violence of combustion, but instead, smoothness, almost nothing. Your body didn't scream, stop. It didn't trigger alarms. And your brain made a decision in that silence. It decided this was okay. But here's what your brain didn't know. Silence isn't always safety. Sometimes, silence is just the absence of a warning you should have heard. Cigarettes announce themselves. They choke you, they make you cough, they taste like destruction because they are destruction. Your body evolved over millions of years to recognize smoke as a threat because smoke meant fire and fire meant death. So when cigarette smoke enters your lungs, every biological alarm system you have screams in protest. That's not a flaw. That's your body trying to save your life. But vaping is different. It doesn't trigger those ancient alarms. The vapor is cooler. It's smoother. It glides past your defenses like a stranger with a kind face. And because it doesn't hurt, because it doesn't make you cough, because it tastes like mango or mint or something sweet, your brain makes a fatal assumption. It assumes that smooth equals safe. But biology doesn't work that way. Not all poisons burn. Not all dangers announce themselves. Let's talk about what's actually happening inside you right now. When vapor enters your lungs, it's not just flavored air, it's a cocktail of chemicals heated to temperatures that turn liquids into aerosols, tiny particles small enough to drift deep into the places where your blood meets the air. These particles settle on the delicate surface of your alveoli, those tiny balloons of tissue that look like pink bubbles under a microscope. These are the architects of your breath. They pull oxygen from the air and hand it to your blood. They're fragile, they're sacred, and they're under attack. The chemicals in vape, liquid, propylene, glycol, and glycerin, they're considered safe to eat, and they are. Your stomach can handle them, but your lungs were never designed to breathe them. When these chemicals are heated and inhaled, they break down into formaldehyde, acrolein, toxic compounds that your lung cells recognize as invaders. And so begins a war your body can't win. Your immune cells rush to the scene. Macrophages, the sentinels of your lungs, they try to engulf the foreign particles, try to clear them away, but they can't keep up. The vapor keeps coming, day after day, puff after puff. And slowly, quietly, inflammation begins to bloom. You don't feel it yet. That's the trap. Inflammation doesn't hurt at first. It's not like a cut or a burn. It's a whisper of damage, a slow accumulation of biological stress. Your lung tissue begins to stiffen. The tiny hairs that sweep debris out of your airways, the cilia, they start to slow down, paralyzed by the chemicals. Your lungs' ability to clean themselves, to heal themselves, begins to fade. And you're still breathing that smooth vapor, still feeling nothing, still thinking you're safe. But let's go deeper. Let's talk about what's happening in your brain. Nicotine, that's the invisible passenger in almost every vape. It enters your lungs, crosses into your bloodstream, and reaches your brain in 7 seconds. 7 seconds from inhale to impact. Faster than most drugs, faster than alcohol, faster than almost anything except oxygen itself. And when it arrives, it finds receptors that have been waiting for millions of years, ancient chemical locks that nicotine fits perfectly. Your brain releases dopamine. that warm wave of calm, that feeling of everything being okay, that moment of peace in a chaotic world. And your brain remembers. It remembers that this device, this little machine in your hand, it creates calm, it creates comfort, it creates relief. So the next time stress comes, the next time anxiety whispers, the next time you feel that edge of discomfort, your brain knows exactly what to do. Reach for the vape. This is the dopamine loop, and it's not a choice anymore. It's a reflex. Your brain has been quietly rewriting itself, building new pathways, strengthening connections that link stress to vapor, discomfort to nicotine, emptiness to inhalation. You think you're choosing to vape, but the truth is more complicated. Your brain chemistry has been hijacked. The very architecture of your neural reward system has been altered. You're not weak. You're not lacking willpower. You're just human. And humans are biological machines that can be reprogrammed. Here's where it gets darker. Because while your brain is experiencing calm, while dopamine is telling you everything is fine, your body is in crisis. The inflammation in your lungs is spreading. Your blood vessels are constricting, restricting oxygen flow. Your heart rate is increasing, working harder to compensate. Free radicals, those molecular fragments that damage DNA, they're multiplying in your cells and deep in your lung tissue. Something sinister is beginning. Oxidative stress. It sounds technical, but what it means is simple. Your cells are rusting from the inside. Every time you vape, you create a storm of reactive molecules that attack your cellular machinery. Your mitochondria, the power plants of your cells, they start to fail. Your DNA accumulates tiny errors. Your proteins begin to malfunction. And your body tries to repair the damage. It really does. But repair takes resources. Repair takes time. And you're not giving it time. You're vaping again and again. The damage compounds. The repairs fall behind. And slowly, imperceptibly, your biology changes. The paradox is haunting. The thing that feels like relief is creating the very anxiety it promises to solve. Because as your brain becomes dependent on nicotine for dopamine, your baseline level of calm begins to drop. You feel more anxious without the vape, more irritable, more on edge. So you vape more, which deepens the dependency, which lowers your baseline further, which makes you need it more. It's a spiral that feels like comfort, but functions like a trap. You're not finding peace. You're renting it at a price your body pays in secret. And the cost? Let's count it. Your lung capacity begins to decline. You don't notice at first. Maybe you get a little winded climbing stairs. Maybe you cough sometimes in the morning. Maybe you feel a tightness in your chest that you dismiss as stress. But inside, your alveoli are losing their elasticity. The surface area where gas exchange happens is shrinking. Your body's ability to oxygenate your blood is diminishing. You're becoming less efficient at the most fundamental thing a human does, breathing. Your cardiovascular system is struggling too. Nicotine constricts your blood vessels. Your blood pressure rises. Your heart works harder. Your arteries become less flexible. The risk of blood clots increases. Stroke, heart attack. These aren't distant possibilities. They're probabilities increasing with every puff. And still, it feels so smooth, so harmless, so safe. Then there's your immune system. The constant inflammation in your lungs demands attention. Your immune cells are perpetually activated, perpetually fighting, perpetually exhausted. This chronic activation makes you more vulnerable to infections. Your body's ability to fight off viruses, bacteria, pathogens of all kinds, it's compromised. You might get sick more often. You might take longer to recover, and you might not even connect it to the device in your pocket. But perhaps the cruelest trick is this: by the time you feel the damage, it's already extensive. Lung disease doesn't announce itself until it's advanced. Your body is remarkable at compensating, at hiding dysfunction, at maintaining the illusion of normalcy, even as systems fail. You can lose 30, 40, 50% of your lung function before you really notice, before breathlessness becomes undeniable, before the cough becomes constant, before the damage becomes visible on scans, irreversible in tissue. Let's pause here. Let's zoom out. Because this isn't just a story about vaping. This is a story about something deeper, something ancient in the human condition. We're drawn to comfort. We seek relief from pain. We want tools that make us feel better, that smooth the rough edges of existence, that give us a moment of peace in a world that demands so much. And there's nothing wrong with seeking comfort. That's human. That's beautiful, even. But what happens when comfort becomes poison? What happens when the thing that soothes you today is the thing that destroys you tomorrow? Your body is trying to tell you this. It's been trying all along. But the signal is so quiet. The damage is so gradual. The trap is so gentle. You breathe in relief and breathe out a little piece of your future, and you don't feel it happening. Not yet. Not until one day you realize you can't take a deep breath anymore. One day you realize you can't walk without getting winded. One day you realize that the smoothness you trusted was always an illusion. The human body is not a machine that can be tricked forever. It's 3 trillion cells working in harmony, an ecosystem more complex than any forest, more delicate than any ecosystem on Earth. Every cell is communicating, cooperating, compensating for damage, trying desperately to maintain balance. But balance has limits. Pushed too far for too long, and systems collapse. The lungs that once breathed effortlessly now struggle. The heart that once beat steadily now strains. The brain that once felt calm now craves. And here's the thing that haunts me. You're not your addiction. You're not your habit. You're not the accumulated choices that led you here. You're the person underneath all of that. The person who wanted to feel better. The person who was seeking relief. The person who trusted something that felt safe. You're human, and humans make mistakes in the dark. The question is, what do you do when the light comes on? When you see the cost of comfort? When you realize that smooth doesn't mean safe? Your body is still trying to save you. Right now, as you hear these words, your cells are attempting repair. Your lungs, if given the chance, can heal, slowly, partially, not completely, never completely, but enough. Enough that breathing becomes easier. Enough that oxygen flows more freely. Enough that the inflammation subsides. Your brain, too, can rewire. The dopamine pathways can normalize. The dependency can fade. It takes time. It takes discomfort. It takes pushing through the withdrawal, the cravings, the anxiety that comes when you stop masking it. But it's possible. Healing is always possible until it isn't. I want you to think about something. Put your hand on your chest right now. Feel that rise and fall. That's not automatic. That's not guaranteed. That's the result of billions of years of evolution, of cells that learn to pull oxygen from air, of tissues that learn to expand and contract, of a biological symphony so precise that you don't even have to think about it. You just breathe. But breathing can be taken from you, slowly, quietly, by something that feels like nothing. Every breath is a gift. Every full lungful of air is a miracle you've been taking for granted. And somewhere, deep in your body, your cells are asking a question. They're asking if you'll listen, if you'll stop long enough to hear the silence that isn't peace, but warning, if you'll choose the discomfort of withdrawal over the comfort of decline. Because here's the truth. They don't tell you. Your body doesn't want you to vape. It never did. It just couldn't scream loud enough over the smoothness. But you know now, you know what's happening in the dark. You know that every puff is a choice, not just for today, but for the version of yourself 10 years from now, the one who might be struggling to breathe, or the one who stopped in time. Your lungs are waiting. Your cells are waiting. Your future self is waiting. And the question hanging in the air, the question that will follow you long after this video ends, is simple. What will you choose when comfort costs everything? Breathe while you still can. Breathe deep and decide.